Welcome to Powerhouse, a new series here at FedEx
that breaks down the hottest topics
and brings on experts shaping what's next for industries and businesses across the globe. What if the future of global supply chains isn't just faster, but fundamentally different? What if a package that arrived at a border didn't have to wait on paperwork and instead was pre-cleared before it even arrived? We're bringing on Vishal Talwar, Chief Digital and Information Officer at FedEx and President of FedEx Dataworks, to talk about the future of global supply chains. Let's go. Looking forward to learning a little bit more about the future of global supply chains. But first, I feel like we need to call out the elephant in the room.
What you see here is the digital twin of this box. So what is the digital twin of this box? It's all the information about this box. Where did this box originate? What's inside this box? Where was it sourced from? By when it needs to get to that destination? That is all the information about the box that's extremely important for the box to have a seamless travel experience. The future is about these being conjoined twins. Both without each other are not complete.
Without further ado, I think it's time we start the first question. So Vishal, how would you describe the current state of global supply chains?
Fragmented, without visibility, and without trust. So why do I say that? Our systems within enterprises are not connected. Our systems across borders are not connected. There is no standards. When the information is not attached to the package, we lose visibility. When this happens, I tend to question the legitimacy of that parcel's journey.
Can we put a number on how much waste accumulates year after year on this global scale?
1.8 trillion is lost because of all of these three things today.
When you say the future of global commerce is digital, what does that actually mean?
If you were traveling international, would your boarding pass and driver's license suffice?
Passport and boarding pass would probably suffice.
So now your visa requirements change as countries should dictate what their entry requirements are. Flow of passengers happens because a standard's been established across countries. So it's not very different for commerce. International borders are waking up and saying we should have a TSA pre-check version for parcels as we have for humans. Trusted data does not support the supply chain. It is the supply chain.
So when we talk about future being digital, it's not just about digitizing documents, but really connecting these digital systems globally, having global standards.
That is exactly right. It's about interoperability.
What happens when a shipment crosses a border today, and how will clearance processes change in a digital future?
You know, the one thing that's happening today that most folks do not realize, the package arrives before the information about the package. And the reason for that is when the systems are not connected, then you need to re-enter the information in every system, and the information doesn't flow seamlessly from system to system. And a lot of countries and systems are still operating with paper documents, and paper doesn't travel at the speed of digital. So imagine a world in which the information showed up before the package itself. So when the package showed up at the border, it just blazed through. That is where the future needs to be.
We have one final question for you today, which is, how does the picture change when you stop looking at supply chains through individual borders?
Borders disappear, friction disappears. It doesn't mean that organizations still do not have to comply to certain established standards, but it does mean you verify the information once and you reuse it at every point it's needed. And I invite every one of our peers in logistics, in governments, and enterprises broadly to co-build this with us. This is not for FedEx. This is for the industry and global commerce at large.
Thank you so much for joining us, Vishal. I learned so much from you, and I appreciate your time here.
I loved it as well. Thank you, Jillian, for having me.
Thanks for watching. For more episodes of Powerhouse, make sure to click here. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel right here.